Okay, Project Soul, that's what I call it, my filthy soul. Well, hopefully I don't have one of those. All right, this is the story, 2015. It was used on the mail route here in western Oklahoma, and it's nothing but red dirt and crap out here. Look at the inside of this thing, absolutely filthy. But I mean, you can't expect much more from a mail rig out here. I mean, just, and I've already cleaned it once thoroughly. Well, I wouldn't say thoroughly, but spent a good half a day on it already. Of course, the shocks went out up here, had to replace them. Here's the old one, it's got the spear underneath there. The tail lights aren't working, I should say the tag lights, so I'm just going to hardwire them into the light here, because that's on a separate fuse. And man, these Kias, you cannot find any fuses you want. They're not marked well at all. In fact, the radio went out the other day, and I think it's that one there, maybe that one there. I called Kia and they told me it was one of these, and of course it wasn't. And there's nothing written on here about meteor or stereo or anything, or clock, anything like that. It took a good 30 minutes to find. I had to test them all individually, but there you go. Even the seat was chewed up. That was actually on the driver's side. I swapped them over. That was all tore up. So I don't know what the deal is on that. But believe it or not, this bad puppy, let's turn this, see if it'll focus. Let's have a look. 218,672. So, you know, it smokes like a freight train. This thing, it's smoky. And it's beat up. It's got parts missing off it. Just gave it a flush. I put a quart of transmission fluid in it, gallon of diesel, and the motor oil was already in there, and ran it for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes till the motor got warm, and flushed it out. So hopefully that'll help. Got a couple of little hickeys here and there. Would you look at that? Yeah, had to screw that on. That was ripped off. Got a couple of little scratches here and there, believe it or not. That's from hitting mailboxes. But anyway, 2015 smoky old thing. I'm going to see how many miles I can get out of this before it takes a big old screaming dump. I mean, it's not, it'll clean up. If I want to go ahead and clean it up, I'll clean it up. I'm missing a lid for that, so I've got to get one of those. And also the motor, I don't know how long that motor's destined for planet Earth, but it's, as I say, it smokes. And funny thing about it, you know, I'm not the smartest man. Kind of me and Forrest are about on the same level. But that looks like an original Hyundai Kia Motors oil filter. Now, I wouldn't imagine it's gone 218,000 miles on the original oil filter. But the last one, it was probably done at Hyundai, which would have been several years ago, most likely. So if anybody's got a 2-litre motor laying around, that's a good one. Let me know, because I don't think this one's going to last much longer. I gave it a bit of a clean the other day. Came up okay, actually. It's got a bunch of blow by. I've got another PCV valve to replace on it, so I'm going to do that. Yeah, I may end up actually just running a hose from there off down to the, drop it down there and plug off the intake. See if it'll breathe a bit better, instead of, if it's got a bunch of, well, which I know it's got a bunch of blow by, because you can actually undo that and see it coming out. So rings are probably shot. If I could do that, maybe vent the nasty stuff down into the you know, underneath the vehicle and get rid of it, maybe it'll run a little better and not go back into the intake manifold. And, or is that the exhaust manifold? What side is that one? That is the inlet, I believe, because I think the exhaust is on the rear on these. Yep, that's correct. Yeah, it should have been pretty obvious. But anyway, I ran diesel through it, as I say. I'm letting it, still dripping now. I'm gonna let it run all that out. I'm gonna keep everybody posted on this, updates, what I do to it, how well it's going. I gotta take it to an exhaust shop and get an exhaust fixed up on it. That's broken. But I mean, it is what it is. I haven't got much in it. If it takes a dump, it takes a dump. I'll go ahead and see if I can find a motor and put in it. But I mean, I work in a really sandy, nasty environment, so I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot of cleaning on it, because it's going to get that filthy again. I mean, I'm going to clean the seats up a bit for sure, and the dash a bit more. You'd be surprised. I mean, when I got this thing, I pulled out, there's my trash can, with my Mercedes. Anybody want a cheap Mercedes? There's nothing more expensive than a cheap Mercedes. That's a beautiful vehicle, super clean. 800 bucks. That was all the junk I pulled out. It's about 1/3 full. It was a mess. But anyway, as I say, I'll keep you guys updated. If you have any questions, holler at me. If you have any tips, you guys know more about these vehicles than I probably do. So holler at me, let me know what I need to check, what I need to change, what the common defaults on them. As I say, 2015, I knew they had horrible problems with bursting into flames due to low oil, breaking the crank, the pistons off, and putting a hole in the crankcase and blowing oil onto the exhaust, and that's what would catch them on fire. Hopefully it doesn't happen with this one. But yeah, appreciate you watching. As I say, if you have any questions, comments, tips, anything you can help me out with, parts that you know of, I'm in Western Oklahoma. I'll do some traveling for a good deal. Appreciate your time. Cheers.